What's up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
What's happening, man?
Man, we up in the building, bro. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den with Seth. Y'all, if y'all haven't been here, if this is your first time here, welcome. If this is your second time and third and fourth, fifth, welcome back, right? You at home. But yeah, if you don't know what we do, we focus on all things leadership, growth, and development with the call to action from the household to out in the community. And for real, this is going to be a show where we exude that this afternoon or this evening. But before we go up into that, how you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm good, man. Halloween weekend, I didn't run no kid over or nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, look, you've been wearing the mask all year, so it's all good. But what you do, though? I had to give it to you. But what y'all do, though? Pass out candy?
Well, man, we put some candy on the porch. You know what I mean? A little handful, a little smizzle here or there. You know, nothing too major.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Man, I needed a little break, man. Took a little trip to the small state of Texas, right? Just relax, man. Connected with some friends and everything, man. Just needed a woosah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get away from some crazy people. And then I just found more. So it's all good. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, it was a good time, man. Good time, really connected.
Speaking of crazy people, man, we about to have a conversation with some women.
Oh, man. Now, look, it's been a minute since we did something like this, man. So what you expecting, though?
Man, I'm expecting to educate them. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's what this show is needed to be. You know what I mean? A little bit of a eye-opener, refresher. You know? Okay. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Well, you know what? The way I'm looking at it, hopefully this is a great opportunity for our viewers, the audience, and first of all, so they can connect with another podcast, right? That's out here getting it in, but still to see the dichotomy of thought. You see what I'm saying, and how we can have conversations, but being in the same room, but seeing different perspectives. So, but hopefully, what I'm trying to get out of this, hopefully, is just an opportunity to grow and to see things and say, wow, so people are really crazy, you know, or whatever, you know what I mean? But hopefully it's a revelation for both sides. So so how you ready? You ready to kick it on off, bro?
Man, hey, these ladies have just kicked off their podcast, and they have been on fire ever since. I've watched most of their shows, and I feel like they bring a lot to the table in the podcast realm with the information that they provide. So I'm excited about the show, right? You know, there's one special person in that mix. You know, everybody know, but you know, we about to bring them on the Elephant in the Room podcast. Come on,
go. Let's bring them on. What's going on, ladies? How y'all doing?
Bring them out. It's hard to have the barrels in your mouth.
Wow. Look, here we go. All right. Well, listen, they're already getting it in. So if y'all don't mind introducing yourselves, let's see. We'll go ahead, Sharita.
Hello, everybody, men and ladies of the Lion's Den, and to our crew from EITR, Elephant in the Room. Thanks for joining us a little early in our group for our viewers, and a little later on for yours. So we just want to thank y'all for joining us tonight for She Said, They Said, okay? We got some things to talk about. So
I guess we
get your pen and paper out. So you can have things to talk about with your next therapist. But again, my name is Shelby, and we are excited about having this conversation with you tonight. Thanks for joining us, Men of the Lion's Den.
Right on.
All right. Hello, this is Chanel, Donnie, Coco, you know, depending on where you know me from. We're excited to be here with the Elephant in the Room, our people, our tribe. We have found our tribe, and we are grateful that the gentlemen of the Lion's Den have collaborated with us on this show. We're looking forward to a lively discussion.
Sure, last but not least. Is Joy.
Hello, everybody. I am Joy. I am excited about this podcast smash up with the Men of the Lion's Den, and to be, as Herman so eloquently put it, educated.
Somebody paying attention.
Educated, wink, wink, by the men of the Lions Den. I'm sure this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, yes, I do too. All right, y'all. Well, so before we get it on off, maybe this will be a great opportunity to set the tone. So for everyone that's watching, we're going to be playing different clips and everything just to stir it up a little bit. But the main thing is what we want y'all to do is to take some time, be honest with yourself. And we can be honest with each other, right? So to kind of kick it on off, I want y'all to check this out.
Most people lie to themselves and they believe their own bullshit. And that's a really scary place to be when you buy your own bullshit. But when you say it out loud, your body cannot deny what it feels from the vibration of the word. You know when you're lying. You know when you're lying to others and yourself, even when it's a white lie. My counselor said to me, the only way that you are going to stay sober is if you are brutally honest with yourself and anybody. I want to acknowledge that, dishonesty comes from shame. We lie because we're ashamed. We lie because we don't want people to think we don't have this shit figured out. The solution to shame, to shrivel that shame, is to say it out loud. Because when you keep those secrets in here and here, they do seem so much bigger because they're eating you up. They're taking up space. But when you say it, and here's my caveat, you have to say it to someone who you feel safe with. This is about freeing yourself from shame. Some of you are not getting the help that you need because you're so afraid to say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So if we got over ourselves and allowed ourselves, and that's why we need community, when you have a place that you can say it out loud, you can free yourself so you can keep it moving.
Yeah.
Well.
So
Free your mind and
the rest will follow.
We all think alike.
yeah.
What
All
y'all
right,
feel
come on,
about
y'all.
that clip, guys? I mean, that, sometimes you do start believing your own BS.
Yeah, you do. You do.
So with me, with this one, I mean, it really hits home because there's a lot that I really never acknowledged about myself. You know what I'm saying? Till these later years in my life right now, right? So I believe that to be true because you don't realize you have a problem until you actually say it to yourself, right? Inherently, I'm a selfish person. You know what I'm saying? I had to say that to myself, like, man, sometimes you have I am a giving person, but when it comes to my emotions and all that type stuff, I'm pretty selfish with that. You know what I mean? It's about what I feel. And if you don't like what I feel, then hey, get ready for the wrath. You know what I mean? So you got to say it to yourself because and after you do, then for me at least, it became real.
Well, brother, I say, well, for me, it's kind of the same, a little different, but I believe just being able to exercise the acceptance of who I am, and instead of putting on a mask to be palatable to other individuals that I really low-key don't like, and they probably don't like me either. You get what I mean? Instead of accepting who I am and being safe enough internally, instead of expecting individuals to be that safe space for me. But then as I'm able to be authentic, I can find those places, or find my tribe, if you will, and vibe with them instead of trying to put people in places where they don't belong for me.
Ladies, what y'all thinking, or should we go on and get into it?
Let's get into it.
Okay, so we just level setting with that clip just to say, hey, tonight we all about to be honest. We all about, there's no shame. There's no shame over here. We're going to say how we feel. We want to be authentic, but we want to give you the opportunity to feel like you can be authentic with us and just make you reflect on yourself. Like, dang, I do kind of tell myself a lot. So with that being said, is it easier to work with someone of the opposite sex? So meaning, let's just start, like, even if for your boss, is it easier to work for a man or a woman? Like, do you feel like it's easier to work for somebody with the opposite from the opposite sex? What you got, Coco? What you thinking about that?
I'm gonna jump on in because I put a resounding yes. Yes, I mean, and again, like we're amongst friends, all right? We're amongst friends and family and loved ones, And I termed it, I don't know if this is a real thing, is unconscious manipulation. Right. You know, I know that's deep and not in the bad way, but as a female, if you work for a man, certain things I could say, do, get away with, as opposed to if you worked for a woman. I think about even me when I managed women, they couldn't just come to me like, oh girl, I'm so sorry, but my period on or whatever. I'd be like, girl, if you don't pop a mite out and get it together. As opposed to if you say that to a man, are you okay? You know, you talk to, I think it's the gender role difference of how, I will speak from experience, when I reported to a man versus reporting to a woman was completely different. It was much easier for me reporting to a man than a woman. Again, and this term is not real. This is not in the DSM-5, 6, or whatever one we on now. It's just unconscious manipulation. You don't even realize you're doing it, but you're like, oh, I'm gonna go ask him. I'm gonna go say this because he probably gonna be nicer about it, as opposed to, you know, Mrs. Brown who gonna look at me like, bitch, what? So yes. So yes.
All right, what y'all thinking, man? Is it easier or more difficult to work for a woman versus a man?
For me, it's always been easier to work with women. I mean, for me, I'm talking about supervising and being my supervisor. I've always had a better time working with women. That doesn't mean like I found more male mentors, but as far as getting the business done, you know what I mean, especially as like for my subordinates, women always get it done. You know what I mean? For me, you know what I mean? They gonna go out there and get it done, and I don't really have to coach them on initiative. Women look more to please. You know what I mean? My guys are a little bit more lazier in that aspect. They're not looking to really please me. You know what I mean? They don't care about that. You know what I mean? Hey, we keeping it real, right, Sharita?
Right.
Making these faces.
Herm.
Okay, I just making sure we're not lying, right?
No, Big Herm on EITR. We just keep the facial expressions that match the response.
Okay,
We don't edit over here.
Yeah. Women easier to train, but yeah, that's it.
I'm sorry. Did you say train?
Oh, like dogs? Wow.
Oh, wowzer.
We all require training at jobs, don't we?
Well, yeah, we do, right?
I don't know about that one, fam.
So I take a different approach. I think it depends, y'all. This is going to sound extremely shallow, but it is a situation. Not saying that it's a fact, but it's true in certain situations. Sometimes individuals have the attractive privilege. And sometimes that the way they look can determine how they treat you or how they operate in the workspace. So there we go. So, and I wouldn't say that because it goes for men as well, right? But there are some individuals that's hard on the face, and then they hard on you, you know, just because they don't get that type of love back at home or in the streets. You know, you're just not easy to look at. So it would be hard to work with, and I'll be honest. So not everybody, but I have seen it, right? There are people out there that faces is just out of line, and they know it, and then their attitude
out of line. Wow,
that's just real.
See, if I would have said that,
facially challenged.
If I would have said that, y'all would be eating me up in the comments.
We would be eating you up.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Hey, we said we go keep it real, right? Yeah.
But why you think that is, Chanel?
I mean, well, like Cardi B said.
Well, what did Cardi B say? I don't listen to her. What she say?
Stop it.
I know who Cardi B is. Who is that?
What did she say? I don't listen to her.
She said, well, look.
Well, duh. Look at me.
But watch this. To her point, she could probably use that to a man's, right? Or a man. You get what I'm. There we go. Now let somebody come up there looking like, hey, look, I'm just ain't feeling it right now. I'm dealing with whatever time of the month. Listen, walk it off.
Oh,
right.
What?
Wow. Amen.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are only on question 1.
Look, I already said it, so I'm keeping it real.
So of course, I'm in the middle. I'm not going with pretty privilege, but what I will say is that I feel like I have been more empowered by working for women of the same sex. My favorite boss was a Black woman, and she makes sure I knew I should be in the room, I could be in the room, and there's nowhere else I need to be. And so that really empowered me as a 20-something-year-old person who was over a lot of people, with the CEOs and the CFOs who were older white men. She was the one that made me say, baby, you can sit here, and there's a seat next to me. So I appreciated that. On the other end, I will say when you have a man that's a supervisor versus a woman, I think women will probably admit it's less competitive. It's not that competitive energy. What you got on at work, what I got on at work. Yeah. What did you say in the meeting? What I say. Women tend to be naturally more competitive. So when that's your supervisor or coworker, you have all that part going. And then I will say, working for a man, there's way less communication. So the truth of the matter is they say what they mean what they say, and they get out your way. And with that being said, I feel more freedom to kind of do things the way I need to. Women can sometimes like to micromanage. They like to get in the weeds a little bit more because, again, they're very more detail oriented naturally. So I can see both. I mean, I've appreciated working with both. And so women have empowered me, but men, they do make it simple. The only thing about a man is, though, they just show up at the end with a problem. Like, they're not always, to me, in the weeds as the process goes, because I don't think they always enjoy sometimes the steps and the processes. But sometimes as supervisors, to me, they do kind of show up at the end and be like, hey, what happened?
I mean,
steps ago, you should have said something.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that has something to do with leadership styles, right? Because you can be a hands-on and not a hands-in type of individual, right? Especially if you've been holding it down. Why should I? And then if I already communicated to you, let me know if you have any problems or issues, and you don't say nothing until the last minute, it's like, okay, now we got to have a problem. You get what I mean?
But that's always assuming the level of the people that work for you. And I think that's a big mistake.
Agreed.
Until you really know who your team and know who you working with. When people say that, because remember, now I got pride. I don't want to tell you. I really don't know. I don't want to tell you. I never really heard of that. And so because I don't feel comfortable coming to you about really where I am, really it could be an explosion on both of our ends that could have been, we could have prevented just by more communication, which sometimes, I'm not saying all, which sometimes male supervisors to me sometimes tend to lack. To me, they just kind of like, here's the task, go. Let me know if you need something. Women are like, here's the task. These are the things I think we should do.
Let me know if you need me. That's their favorite. Let me know if you need me.
Men kind of do that, and I think sometimes it bites them in the butt later.
It all depends on the security of the person, because I've worked with some very insecure men who, if you are an intelligent woman and you are strong in your conviction, they can't handle that. If you are a self-motivated individual and you don't have to defer to them frequently, it's off-putting to them because they have a control issue. So working for a man is not necessarily easier than working for a woman, because an insecure man is the worst thing in the earth, because you're constantly having to coddle, reassure, come in peace. I'm not trying to take your job from you and all of that. And if you have a secure woman, she is partnering with you. But if the man isn't secure and he's an insecure individual, it really makes your working relationship extremely difficult.
April, but
because it is competitive.
You just compared an insecure man with a secure woman. What is an insecure woman like?
That's right.
Well, it's an insecure woman. She's just as competitive, but it's worse with the insecure man, to me. And I've had both sides. So working with the insecure man it becomes very hostile, because men tend to go with aggression and anger as their first emotion. Okay. Women are a little bit sneakier with they're more passive aggressive with their behavior, but men are just ultimately outright aggressive and angry. And then you come to find out, oh, he's afraid of you because you're more competent than him. It's nothing that you've necessarily done, but he's a little bit more vicious and condescending than an insecure woman.
And wants to exert power. We have some comments.
Yeah.
We get some of the comments. Gail Poole, hey mama. Yeah, she's gonna be on. The key to all is knowing your job and being able to implement it through your position. Auntie Nancy, in the remote space, men can communicate less and try to micromanage depending on personality. And then Mama came back and said, yeah, because I came up in the same time when the Good Old Boy Network was alive.
Yep.
And
Yep.
well, so I had to walk into the boardroom with my knowledge up front and firm and what was needed to get the job done. And insecure, and Cynthia, hey Cynthia, she was on a couple times ago. An insecure, unqualified person will always come out fighting. And I think that I agree to male or female. They insecure, they insecure in their position, their role, their knowledge. They're gonna always look at you in a negative light.
You know why I feel like, all right, so now we're really just generalizing, right? Not everybody
for sure.
Be all, but working with an insecure woman, right? Or a woman that doesn't know her job, right? Is extremely hard because they still, like with an insecure man, a lot of them too late, they still don't want to get in the weeds, right?
True.
Insecure woman is going to be all in your mix. They're going to be at the very high, superintendent level, but still wants to know what the front desk person's schedule looks like.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I'm sorry, I do.
They want to know, hey, you're supposed to be looking at us at a more strategic level, but you want to know when the front desk clerk is taking a lunch break.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm with you when you're right.
Know what they're doing, but they still got that womanly organization, that drive, that, you know what I'm saying, wanting to know everything. Those are the hardest people to work for because they are always in your way.
And in business, that's not necessarily theirs.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it sounds like from the consensus of both teams is really insecure people who are in leadership positions. Right. And just because you have position does not mean you're a great leader. And I think some people need to know the difference. And some people need to stay in their place. Some people are just great team members. Be a great team member. Some people are not there to rally the troops and lead the cause. Some people are just there to help serve. So with that being said, well, since we've been talking about, we generalizing, it seems like, and so based on our own experiences, though, because I do believe it's based on our experience. Because currently, I work for a man. My favorite supervisor that grew me the most was a woman. So again, it's all based on my experience. So, since we talking about this, what is the biggest misconception about? And I'm gonna just for the sake of this group, what's the biggest misconception about Black men, and what's the biggest misconception about Black women? That the world says it's like that ain't true. What would y'all say is the biggest misconception? Start it off with whoever wants to go for it first.
Go ahead, April.
Why y'all gonna throw me out there? So biggest misconception about Black men, I would say, is that they all angry and that they all hate their mothers. That's the newest one. That's not true. They're not all angry. A nice percentage of them have had some disappointments in life that may have caused them some trauma, and they may their first response may be anger, but they're not all angry, and they don't all have horrible relationships with their mothers. I've met some kind ones recently.
What about women? What do you think is misconceptions about a Black woman that people just assume?
Oh, we think we know everything. We think we know everything, and we present as if we know everything, and then they're kind of thrown off when you say, "Oh, I'm not really sure." I've had that happen to me at work twice last week. And they're like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm not really sure. I never told you that I knew everything. Well, you always have the answer. I didn't know that was a requirement. I'm unsure. You may need to defer to someone else.
What y'all think? What's a big misconception?
You know what I would say, a big misconception I would say for men is that that we don't feel, right? That's number one. But for women, I would say it's a misconception that women can't be narcissists.
Oh, you want to get
no, I'm being real, because majority of the time when individuals try to articulate what a narcissist is, it's a he, almost like in the mind. And so that's not true. It still happens, and it's both, right? Anyone can gaslight, anyone can exemplify the whole Darvo effect, right? With communication and all that other stuff. So Yeah, I think that's a misconception.
I like that. That's it. Okay, maybe I was trying to educate a little bit tonight. Okay.
Even though we all need to know that is a trendy word, narcissism,
Very
narcissistic
so.
personality disorder.
And it's a chemical thing. That's another
there
thing.
is less than probably 10% who will ever be
Who are
diagnosed
really
with personality
truly
disorder.
Individuals have traits, right? And of
Correct.
course,
I think
it's
every
impossible
individual has a
to
trait.
actually do
Absolutely.
that. It's a chemical imbalance, but I mean, individuals can act in that way.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead, ma'am.
Oh, I think for me, when I was researching, kind of just thinking through this, I think for Black women, the biggest misconception is that we want to be the savior. We don't. Like a lot of times, we just be drinking our water and mind our business. Like we do not want to always be the savior. Now, are we the best at it? Absolutely. But I think the biggest misconception is that we signed up for that. Like we didn't sign up for it. It just happens. It just kind of like we talk about, like even with our jobs or with our friends or family or what have you. It's like we didn't sign up to be the savior for everybody. You know, it just happens. So I think that's the biggest misconception for Black women. And for Black men, I thought is that, you know, all Black men aren't traumatized. You know how they say, oh, we all got a little trauma, but there are some Black men that they are not operating out of that trauma. I think that's a big misconception, is that all Black men are traumatized, and because they're so traumatized, they do this, that, and the third. I don't subscribe to that. I think every individual, I take every individual for where they are and not in the generalization of that.
Big Herm is coming. It's brewing.
I see him. He can't wait.
Boy, you said the biggest misconception is Black women don't want to be the savior is a bunch of BS, boy.
Oh,
Black women are the only ones. Black men will be sitting in the house chilling. Next thing you know, your Black woman run up in the house. They're discriminating against Hamas. They're just, y'all are jumping in everybody's business all the time.
That's just commentary, Big Herm.
What about the Latinos? What about the Puerto Ricans? I'm like, yo, Black women, chill out, sit down, chill out.
No, I can
that don't happen.
Big Perm.
That don't happen.
Big Perm.
It doesn't.
I have a commentary about the situation.
Boy, Black women
without trying to resolve it.
The situation, okay?
Right. What about the trans? What about the gays? What about the Latinos? What about Palestine? Black men sit back like, what the hell is going on?
Have you seen those? You saw those memes, the 99.99%, how we sitting there,
right?
While the building is burning, we sitting there drinking our coffee.
Yeah, that's what makes me laugh. Y'all drag Black men into so much mess behind that crap. We don't care nothing about Palestine. The only reason why we care about Black Palestine is because Black women are bringing up Palestine. We don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? You care about Palestine?
Hey, I care about
you care about Palestine.
I care about everyone.
Exactly.
In general.
Right there.
However, am I solution focused on everybody's issue? Absolutely not.
Hold on, ladies.
Y'all jumping everybody, so that's not a misconception.
Seth,
hold on.
I think it totally is.
Big Herm need a timeout.
No. I think
you just saying some off the wall stuff.
I think if you talk about opinions about outside things, Black women do have opinions about outside things. But let's be clear about what's going on outside and what's really going on inside. Because inside you're dealing with day-to-day real stuff. At the end of the day, do we jump on and try to advocate for on a social level, on that level, outside on social media? But in the real world, that is not what I'm not worried about Palestine. I'm worried about these groceries. I'm worried about my house being clean. I'm worried about my kids being safe.
Black women got Black men researching who the hell Bad Bunny is. You know what I'm saying? All this
Black women, because you revere Black women as you should. So because a Black woman spoke something to you as
about what? About Bad Bunny, right?
No, as whatever the was, Big Herm. You chose. That was a choice.
What? I'm just saying. You just said that misconception is Black women and everybody's savior. Now all of a sudden y'all all Bad Bunny fans. You know what I'm saying? It's like
talking about Bad Bunny. I have heard one sister say anything.
That's one thing. That's one thing.
Hold on. I would like to respond.
Here we go, y'all. Look here, real quick. Hey, everybody. Hopefully y'all enjoying this outstanding show. Again, if this is your first time, hopefully it's not the last. Right on. Hopefully it's not the last. Now make sure you hit that share button and like and subscribe and all that. And also too, the elephant in the room. Make sure you give them some love too, okay?
Absolutely.
So back to the whatever that was. Right on. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I didn't get to respond because, honey, these people just get into it. But for me, I think one of the big misconception about Black men is that they don't want to do right. I think people always kind of talk about like they don't want to act right, they don't want to love right, they don't want to do right by their children. Like I just think it's a big misconception to think that they all just want to do wrong, and I think the world kind of perpetuates that. And sometimes in circles when we're just all hee-hawing, I think that could be a misconception. The big misconception about Black women. That I don't like the fact that sometimes they try to act like the Black women aren't Black men's biggest advocates. And I think that's a big misconception. I think that the world tries to act like we are non-supportive, we don't listen. But at the end of the day, we are the ones that sit by our brothers, our fathers, our cousins. We show up at the jail, we put money on your books, we watch your kids, we support your dreams when they fail, break, come back up, end all over again. I just think sometimes we get the bad rap because we tend to be vocal, but the truth is I think we are the biggest supporter of the Black men on this country, and I feel like people never give us credit for the love, respect, and admiration that we give you day to day. So that's just me.
Agreed.
That's right.
Agreed.
That's right. Ain't nobody gonna love you like a Black woman.
Period.
Herm dog.
And ain't nobody gonna get you like a Black woman, because we're gonna get you where you stand, but we're gonna love you too.
Exactly. Get you and pat you up at the same time.
Ain't nobody gonna put you in jail faster than a Black woman either. So, but go ahead.
Oh, lies you tell. Lies you tell.
Lies you tell.
All right.
So we got some other questions queued up. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. So let's see. What is the deal? We're gonna let the men talk on this one first. What is the deal about Black men always feeling like they being disrespected? Every wrong step of a brown woman or anybody alive, it's like, don't disrespect me. You being disrespectful.
You better respect
me. So disrespect my house. You disrespected my man. Give us some insight on why is everything that y'all not like her come off as disrespectful.
I think for me, and I gotta attribute my brother Seth for this because we talk a lot in the mornings. A lot of that, I know Chanel said not all, April said not all Black men have trauma, right?
They don't operate out of their trauma.
Right, operate out of that. You're not operating out of it.
I think that this is the part where that trauma comes from. You know what I mean? Somewhere down the line, they was disrespected and wasn't strong enough to be able to do nothing at that point. So they just had to take whatever disrespect, either getting bullied, getting beat up, or even worse. You know what I mean? Whatever happened to them. And a man, you know what I'm saying? They, inherently they're supposed to be the protector, but couldn't even protect themselves at that time. And so as they get older, hey, ain't nobody ever gonna try me like that again. I don't care if they're 100 years old or 5. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to know how they're supposed to. But at the same time, I'm also always going to lead with respect. You know what I mean? I'm always going to be the person to lead with respect. So that make it worse for me because I'm never going to come at you sideways and talk crazy. You know what I mean? So I just expect the same in return. And when it doesn't happen that way, switch flips, and then Lord help you.
Okay.
Oh, Lord help you.
Well, so yeah, I got a different approach, kind of, but essentially, I believe the issue comes with a lack of communication skills. Because if you truly hear me, then you will understand what it is to love me. Right. So then if you do something that's the opposite of that, then therefore you're disrespecting me. And then therefore, if you don't know it, I have to state this is what disrespect look like. And I have to make sure I'm not doing this out of emotions, right? But logically, if you want me to stay in your life, this is what respect look like, but this is what disrespect look like. And so if you keep doing the latter, it's going to be an issue. You see? And so I think as we operate and understand our languages, the love languages, and understanding how we hear and how we can comprehend information, that goes both ways. because if you truly heard my heart and maybe missed the words, then chances are, like if we keeping it real, you know if you out of line. But sometimes individuals want to push it just to see how much they can get away with before you say, look, I didn't, you see. So I think that's what it is. It's the communication and the willingness to understand the individual.
So guys, so Seth, with that being said, on the opposite end, you know, if you love me and you want to learn to love me the way I want to be loved, do you also take accountability for the disrespect given and shown at the same time? Because I think men, it was funny about women. I don't, and again, ladies chime in on the chat anywhere. I don't really hear women a lot of times yell that they've been disrespected. It seems to be a male driven word that anytime something kind of does not feel comfortable or right or approached,
it's the language. It's the language. So that's the thing. So if you think about it, the communication may be different. No, the vernacular is different, but the mode is the same. Women may not say disrespect, but they'll say you hurt me. Okay,
but they're more emotionally into.
Right, but that's disrespect, you know, because a man saying he's disrespected, I'm hurt that a person that I love is hurting, is disrespecting me. So it's the same thing. So trying to understand the getting away from the semantics of the word.
Right, I was going to say that. It sounds like semantics.
It's all semantics.
It also sounds like stick with the hurt. Stick with the hurt, because that was my answer.
Right? Yeah, right. But again, if women are naturally
they're conditioned to not be emotional, so they don't want to say the word hurt.
You hurt me.
So now we're going to take a little different. So men aren't conditioned, just like women aren't conditioned, right? Now what we have is estrogen and testosterone. So based off of how we hear information and how and our molecular structure will show how we're going to communicate. But if you listen, my hurt is still your hurt. No one wants the person that they love to hurt them. Okay. Now I may operate logically first and then feel later. Okay. And you may feel first and then say, well, damn, did that make sense? No, that was really out of line later. But at the end of the day, we're still moving in the same way. That's the whole gang thing.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. I don't disagree. I hear what you're saying. I think we're doing a lot.
I just don't want to agree.
I think we're doing a lot of wordsmithing here.
I think words matter.
Words matter. Wordsmithing here. And the thing is, as a man, I know we're saying you haven't been conditioned, but you have been conditioned to say, to not be emotional beings, right? So it's easier for you to say no shade, nothing wrong. It's easier to say disrespect, as opposed to I'm hurt, because that is the emotional part of it. That's all I'm saying. I think we're saying the same thing, but we don't want to. We need to acknowledge the fact that men don't operate, just like you said, they don't operate from emotion first. So there's a term that's being used now is disrespect, but really when you peel back the layers is I'm hurt. You hurt me.
Yeah. And I think ultimately too, that's westernized commentary.
Yeah. The words I'm hurt is not going to come out of my mouth because that's almost in the admittance of weakness. You know what I'm saying?
But why does it have to be that? Why does it have to be?
It's just how I'm.
How his mind is wired.
It's how I am. You know what I mean? It's just how
I have a problem saying that.
Yeah, it's just how
but
I am.
I think you've evolved into that, man, Seth. You've evolved into that because most of us were conditioned from a little girl. I was conditioned from a little girl to cross my legs, keep my arms off the table, make sure that I look appropriate, make sure. What I'm saying is we've all been conditioned until there's a point where we mature and find our own way and find our own words. The truth is our mothers, I'm sorry, my mother definitely conditioned me to be ladylike in what was appropriate responses and behaviors. So again, as I grew into myself and I found who I was in my own voice and my emotional intelligence, my emotional vocabulary enhanced, obviously I can articulate that different. But most of us have been conditioned from our grandparents to our mamas, how what to say, how to say, what to think, how to feel, and how to show.
Yep.
So like
we have to deconstruct some of that behavior and mindset individually.
All right, so look at this. So here's Miss Meeks. So she says men are conditioned to hide their emotions. How many times do we tell our boys to act like a man when they are crying? So
Yeah.
and again, that's why I push back a little bit on that, right? It's not, well, I guess it is, as far as the westernized thought process and even just the socializing, right? Because if you've been hearing it, that means you've heard it. If you're saying it, that means you've heard it, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't something that was prevalent in my household. So I believe there is a condition, but then there's also a social acceptance of what things are versus generalizing, saying things like this. Men are conditioned too.
Yeah.
It's generalizing. Like it's a fact. And it's not. It's true in certain situations. That's why it's a difference between truth and fact. Because what's true for you is subjective. What's fact is, no matter if you like it or not,
it's objective.
Right.
Oh, that's what I mean. So it's the connection of, the whole difference between the, what is it, the nature versus nurture.
And it just has a lot to do with
I
your
subscribe to nature and nurture. Right? It shouldn't be nature versus.
Right. It should be both.
Yeah.
All right. So the comments are blowing up. It seems like everybody, some people seem like to go back and forth about what's conditioned. I think it's the culture of your family. I think it's great if you didn't hear those messages. I think it's great if your father never said, or because if my family's on here, baby, my brother, man up, quit that crying, or you a girl. I mean, I wish it was better. But in our whole, if you play ball, everybody played ball. You if you didn't play any kind of sport, everybody gave you the side eye, like, well, what's wrong with you doing, young man? And I'm not saying right, but anybody who walked up to our family and was like, hey, young man, what you do? You play ball? If you said no and said, I do debate, that didn't go, just be anything you want to be. We weren't there yet. And I'm glad we are today. But in my family, it's like, I ain't saying we was right, but I'm saying,
but it's cultural conditioning.
For sure. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, just conditioning. For sure. If we can read, so Monica, I love this comment she said. I want to say earlier. She said, "Patriarchy and misogyny have entered the room," and so that's pretty much what we were talking about. And then Samantha said, "I think we need to be sure we are on the same page about the definition of respect. Sometimes we don't understand what disrespect means to each other."
Agreed.
So here's a question: what's the problem with the patriarchy?
Because the
matriarchy gets pushed so much. What's so great about the matriarchy opposed to
because both of us are here. We both cohabitate with one another. So why do we have to operate under rules, laws, and regulations that are patriarchy based?
So when it's both of us. Should we do it under the matriarchy? Because that's what
I'm not saying that either. I'm saying it's a collective.
Huh?
I'm saying it's a collective is what I would subscribe to.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
I just never hear nobody push back on the matriarchy when that's the majority of the black households nowadays. You know what I mean? But there's always a pushback when it comes to the patriarchy. I just find that. We can go on to the next question.
Well, let me address this real quick, because
go ahead,
I think there's an issue because the patriarchy typically tends to make women subservient. And whenever there is women in leadership, we don't try to make men feel less than.
Oh, really?
But the patriarchy tends to do that and tries to collectively make women feel subservient. And when I say subservient, I'm not talking about submissiveness. We ain't going biblical. We're not doing that. Yeah. We're talking about subservient.
So here's the question then. So since you said that, how many times do we have to hear about how y'all are so much more educated than us and so far advanced, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to money and everything than the black man? You just said that y'all don't try to put the black man down under the matriarchy, but I just gave you an example of how that's not true.
We don't do that to show that we are better than the black man. We're doing that because when we talk about the most disrespected, the most underappreciated, the most or the least recognized race, culture, gender of all, it's always the black woman. So we're not doing it to disrespect or demean you. We're just trying to showcase our accomplishments. It's not anti-you, it's just being pro-us.
It is anti-black when you say then the black man. You know what I mean?
No one's ever said that though.
Hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Joy.
But those statistics, it depends on who's reporting the statistic. So if they're reporting the statistics from their point of view, if it depends what the person's agenda is who's reporting the statistics. Majority of black women that I know are not going around and saying, well, I'm more educated than the black man. Black women aren't going around saying that. They are saying that they are getting educational, they're valuing education and trying to get better jobs because there is not necessarily a black man currently in the household. Not that they don't want one, not that they're trying to be better than. We're actually going to go and get better educations to be better helpmates to you all, is the truth. It's to elevate the community. It's not to deny you anything.
Yeah, this normally comes up when it's talking about dating, though. You know what I mean? When it's talking about the dating pool for the black woman. That's how these conversations normally come up. Is how much better and how much farther advanced the black woman is than the black man now. Right.
Well, I think this is a great point, a great time to say what black men and what black women need most. I think we can argue all day about what's the history, but moving forward, what do black men need from black women to push y'all forward? And women, we need to say what we need from men to push us forward, because I think this world, Western, since everybody wants to talk about, I think this is a great example of us always arguing with each other, when in fact we are the families, that we are the black men and the black women that are raising our children. And instead of always being at each other, I think this is a great point to say, how can a woman support you as a man? What can we do? What do you need more of in a positive, supportive way to move forward? Men and women, what do y'all need? What do men need? What do women need? Anybody can jump in.
It's one of the toughest things. Because I know, especially for a person like me, it always changes. So I feel for my wife, Sharita, man. I feel for my baby, because a lot of times, you know what I mean, my dreams and my direction changes. You know what I mean? And some of the best thing that can happen for a man is to have his woman support him all the way through. You know what I mean? The world is going to beat your man up. You know what I mean? The world's going to beat y'all up. You know what I mean? But the world's going to beat your man up when he comes back home with something like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Be supportive in that, even if you might not believe in it in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? To help that man.
What does support look like? Can you insert that? What does that, what is the wording? What does that actually look like in practice?
Give me a second.
For you.
Get
to it. I'm just gonna sorry.
So I have an idea what I want to do, baby. I want to become a dog groomer. Just yesterday, I run a car wash or whatever. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? I want to be a dog groomer. You know what I'm saying? She might think that's the craziest idea, but instead, she's like, you know what? That might work. Have you looked into? And then ask me some things like, have you looked into this, and this? You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to do, I got you. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Instead of just, soon as you bring something to somebody, you just slam it down like, hey, that's stupid, move on. You know what I mean? And then you do it so many times now, I feel like I can't come to you. You know what I mean? When you bring my idea down so many times, now I can't, who am I talk to about this stuff? I should be able to talk to my wife about it. You know what I mean? I should be able to talk to other about it. You know what I mean? Because that should be a safe space. Right? And a safe space don't take the information to turn around and jab you with it. You know what I mean? Now you done burnt that bridge for me altogether.
Can I ask this question?
I want to read these comments.
Wait. Okay, go ahead. Read the comment, and then I got a question
because we got some seasoned women in the chat speaking on what Herb says. And so Mama Pooh said, when a man and a woman are secure in whom they are, we can walk into any room strong, and then we can come home to each other and submit to each other in love. Javon said we have to be each other's advocate. Nancy said we need to stop seeing each other as the enemy. Mama Shelby said don't compete, collaborate. Men and women do way better if they operate as a team. And then Nancy again, we need to be each other's safe haven again. And I say that again because I like that part again, because that's how it used to be back in the day. Somehow we've kind of gone astray. And this is where we are now. So I like these comments based on what Herman was saying. But yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you this question? When you're saying you have brought this idea forward to your wife and you desire for her to collaborate with you.
Yeah, hypothetically.
So what then is looking like the follow through? Because from what
Amen again.
so once you say you want to open up a dog grooming business and we have this 4-hour conversation, let's say we have it 3 times in this week. So as your helpmate, I have gone and sought out building, possible investors, possibly how much revenue that would bring in, all of these different facets to help you create this business plan, right?
Now, were you asked that part?
Mm-hmm.
Were you asked?
Was I asked to do this part? But here's the thing: what some men don't understand. If we're helpmates, when you start talking, our minds start to, well, how am I going to help? Let me help him reach his goal. So if you're sincere about doing it, your helpmate is trying to help you get to where you're trying to be. So how many times?
He's saying slow down.
Let her finish. No, go ahead. No, go ahead, April.
Okay, so then how many? Like, what is how much support do you want? Do you want that level of support, or do you want the hands-off approach, or do you want to continue to talk about it for 8 months, or what is it? What is it? Like, if you say that you're serious and I come back and say, baby, I found the perfect spot for your dog grooming business. It's a building over here on 14th Street. It's vacant and we got enough money in the bank to rent it out.
Got you. Hey, Herman.
But now he want to wash cars.
No, look. So I'll jump in.
See that attitude? That's what. Go ahead.
So I'll jump in.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I understand. So I believe, going back to the question, okay, for both, know your role. And what I mean by that, not gender role, know what you're strong at and know what you're not, right? And then listen for me. If you truly do believe in what I'm doing, listen for when I need you. Don't just say, well, look, I'm gonna do this. Who told you to do that? And then how about this? Maybe I was having this conversation first because it was a dream that I'm giving it to you, not for you to cultivate it, right? But let's talk about it. So let's do this in stages. So then when I ask for your help, and then here's the deal. Not saying that you can't give suggestions, right? But understand, if you're we're going to use the word submissive.
That's fine.
Okay. If you are underneath and supporting the mission, then you are supporting it, not making it your own, right? Because of what? Other traumatic issues when you may have been played on the side before, but that's not the goal here. You're going to be next to me this whole time. So trust me. And I think that's what it is. It's being able to trust each other, but know your role, because you can be
jump in here because I already know where you're going. Shelby, jump in.
I gotta answer that because April had asked me directly this, right?
But yeah, I'm curious as to what support looks like, because if you dreaming, and you dream it 17 times a year, I
love it.
Am I just listening or what?
Just listening. Sometimes, yeah.
Listen.
Sometimes it's just listening. Yeah. Sometimes you can check it, right? Like Seth said, like, know your role. Just like we have to know our role sometimes when you come home complaining about whatever, you know what I mean? Your friends, whatever it is that you want to
go out and with tomorrow,
kids, whatever it is. Sometimes you don't want me to solve it or come fix the problem. You just want somebody to complain to. I just want somebody to hear this idea that came to my head.
That's it,
right?
Okay.
But, you know what I'm saying? I haven't made anything real yet. You know what I mean? I haven't made nothing real yet. I'm just this idea, and man, my wife would tell you I come up with all kind of ideas. You know what I mean? And I sound serious every time, right? You know what I mean?
Look at that. Look,
boom,
hear it all and ask,
what do you need from me?
Right. So if you didn't say nothing, what are you doing? And then and check this out. Then you get your feelings hurt because I didn't want you to do it, and I had to tell you.
You're right. I mean, you're right. You are definitely right about that. I completely agree. I literally just had the same exact situation. I was like, okay, well, if you want to do this, we can do this. I know somebody could do that. We can give you that. And he was like, and I was like, and what about this? Whatever. And
information overload.
He said, I don't. I don't know. I didn't ask these questions. I wasn't there yet. And I was like, well, why not?
And then check this out. Then you can think, well, you ain't ready. You ain't serious. You ain't serious. You ain't ready.
That's exactly what I said. That is exactly what I said.
And then guess what happens? And then you know what they do? It's shut down.
That's exactly
but I think the important part that we keep missing, because I had already wrote this down before the discussion started, what both probably people need is acknowledgement. And everybody keeps yelling about communication. The truth is communicate. Hey, babe, I'm just running something by you. I'm just dreaming out loud. Right. Hey, I'm only in the dreaming phase of this thing, because to be honest, I'm not trying to be funny and people don't believe this, but as a therapist, I help provide answers and think of answers every day for a living. I don't even want to have to come up with the answer. Right. It's okay to say, hey, I'm just venting. Hey, I just want to run something by you. Hey, I'm past step one now. Ask me some challenging questions that I need to think about. Yeah. What I'm saying is communication works for all the above. There's nothing wrong with dreaming, but I got dreams too. And so the truth of the matter is you all come like, hey, what about this? Hey, what about this? Hey, what about this? But women's dreams are, we share them a little bit different, and nobody's trying to make sure they're acknowledging that in the perfect right way, because yours sounds like, hey, you want to do a dog grooming today? I think I should be a dog groomer. That's how men tend to. Yeah. And women's dreams sound more like, dang, I wonder what it'd be like, man. I don't want to wish if I didn't work and I just did party planning. Like, never mind, that's crazy. Anyway, I got to do it with these kids. No one normally sits there and goes, I feel like I keep hearing you say this.
No.
Like?
So
I was going to say, because what I'm saying is the factor, because women can sound like this. Man, I'm exhausted. Man, I'm exhausted of going to work every day. Man, I'm exhausted. Our words, everybody's dream is different. What I'm saying is I think what both men and women need is acknowledgement. But I also think when you have a good, just like our friendship, at this point in our friendship, we go and say this up front. Hey, girl, I'm just venting. Yeah. Hey, girl, I'm not really looking for a solution today, because to me, as you mature, you're able to articulate what you need at that moment instead of holding them hostage, trying to say it's your fault it didn't come because you weren't supportive. No, right. If you love me and I love you, then you need to learn how to communicate so that I can support you in a way that's actually helpful for you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what's up.
All right.
Seth, you were saying something. You were going to say something.
No, I think we already hit it. It's all good. It all makes sense, right? Just know who you're talking to and know what you want, and make sure that person know. That's it.
But I like what you said though about know your role. Not like that, but
know your role. Yeah, because not everybody.
Know your role, Coco.
Yeah.
Big Herb. I said that too. But what he's saying basically is know the role you play in this
situation. Right.
And when we do a good job in our role, acknowledge it. I keep acknowledgement. When your wife is supportive in the way that you need it and it feels good and it feels right, acknowledge it, because everybody wants to be positive conditioning. Baby, you know what? I'm glad you said that. You know what? That really helped me to think through that. You know what? Thanks for listening today. Everybody in this world just wants to be validated. So if I do right by you, say good, make me good, so then I can keep doing it, because we're all trying to teach each other. That's all I'm saying. So, okay. So we had this thing called soft girl era that keeps coming about. And so we have a clip about soft girl era, and it kind of is just this new thing about women being in their soft girl era. So we're going to listen to a clip. And y'all let us know what y'all think about women. Do we need to be in our soft girl era? Do you even believe in it? And we'll go from there and see what y'all think about that.
Let's see here. All right, this is coming up. I think because it's a mess.
It's a woman, just a single woman on that one. Sorry.
I got it.
So thank y'all in the chat. We see everything y'all doing. We definitely empower women, empower other women. I'm grateful for Sacred Circle of Sisters. That's why you have relationships with AI. Okay, here we go.
Y'all be saying like y'all want a man to put y'all in y'all soft girl era. What do y'all be meaning by that? Because apparently there's two different ways to take that, or maybe more, but this one was very interesting to me. So I was talking to my best friend and she was like, I don't really agree with that. And I was like, why not? So I started explaining, like, to me, putting a woman in her soft girl era just means like making her load lighter, giving her advice if she needs some. You know, it don't always have to be about like monetary things, but possibly just, you know, making things lighter. Like I can breathe. Whew, because life is hard. And of course, you know, like that being reciprocated, of course. But she looked at it in a completely different way. And I'm assuming like this is just like from her experience, people have, or guys maybe told her this was their experience with that. Putting a woman in that soft girl era and she being like this hardcore woman and very aggressive, but expecting like these different types of things from men, like flowers, possibly, you know, just a woman that's like, oh, you need to give me this in order for me to be that. Like, put me in that. And it's like, no, naturally, you should be that anyway. Nobody should have to put you in a place for you to be a, a soft woman in that way of like tone and just being gentle and stuff like that. I'm like, whoa, I was way off because I did not think about that. And I'm like, it's probably because I'm not that type of woman. Naturally, I'm just very, you know, easy going. I'm really a simple woman. But I found that interesting though. I'm like, I wonder how other people see that because I was thinking about, you know,
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
So I wanted to ask the men because is there would you say there is
What harm?
more
What you doing, bro?
Bro, I'm just trying to turn my camera back on and it's
Oh,
giving me a solo layout when I do that.
Yeah. Go to the
Hold on, I
go
got
to
it.
the last three. There you
There
go.
we go.
All right, go ahead, Sharita.
so for the men, you know, this soft girl, women are saying, you know, I need to be in my soft girl era. Obviously, you know, I want to be soft and, you know, men, can you appreciate, is there something that is more attractive for a less aggressive woman, less out? You think y'all need men should put women in a soft girl era? Do you believe that there's a softness that you are attracted to that women have gone away from? And that could just be from tone to dress to attributes. Do you just feel like the world has changed where it's hardcore and they need to be in a soft girl era? Are you more attracted to women who are considered in their soft girl era, have softer tendencies or softer ways they approach life? It's just kind of a trendy thing, but we just want to talk about it here because for me, class never goes out of style, but it also seems like this is a big debate amongst a little bit of the younger generation. Which I think.
Soft girl is something I just recently heard about. You know what I mean? I didn't never knew what that was. Me as a man, do I want a woman that's super aggressive? No, but I do want a woman that's able to think for herself, you know what I'm saying, make her own moves when she needs to and stuff like that. So I don't know if I really want a soft girl that, you know, just waiting for me to make every single move for them and all that stuff, you know, no pillow princess or nothing like that. But at the same time, I don't need super aggressive, you know, just trying to fight me at every turn neither. You know what I mean? Like, just let's be in the middle with it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we can't have no arguments. Yeah, of course we're gonna have arguments. You know, I'm gonna be wrong sometimes, not most of the time, but you know, every now and then I'm gonna be wrong. But we're gonna argue and get over it. You know what I mean? She gotta have her own mind. She don't need to stand on one foot and bark like a dog. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous.
But what about softness? Like Seth, like I'm saying, it's like softness is not, it's just the attitude. Or you are more aggressive type personalities, more
Okay, so I would
wear
say
jeans and a baseball hat, you feel just good if she's in a dress, or what,
no.
like all the way there.
So I'm not really driven by the aesthetics that much, but it is about the harmony, right? There needs to be a harmony of both, like an assertive woman, but also she has a level of meekness, right? And grace. You know what I mean? She know how to step in a room and don't have to say much, but is moving the whole conversation. That takes maturity. It takes intelligence, right? And that's in my opinion, the true essence of a woman. This soft girl shit, that's a different generation. I don't live in there no more, right? But what I do subscribe to is a woman that is self-assured, right? And just in case a man is not technically there, she knows how to handle business. Not saying I just need a man to do. No, you don't. Like I'm teaching my daughter. No, you don't, right? However, know how to treat a man. That's something different. You get what I'm saying? So you don't have to operate in life like men don't exist, but understand who you are and that you are capable. But this whole era type of thing, no, I don't dig that. I don't subscribe to that.
For those who are dating, what do y'all think about, do you feel like women because we've the most educated, because we got all this going on, that we have not lent ourselves to being softer, to being more appealing in different ways, and not always have to be aggressive, in charge, telling men what they think, tell them what they want? Like, do you feel like there is a need for women to be in their soft girl era? And I do like this comment too, so Chanel.
Okay, yeah. Ms. Julie says what it boils down to is that a lot of women have had these high expectations for men that not even the women themselves can meet. Also, why would I be doing all of this for said woman if she isn't deserving of it? This is Brandon. Oh, Brandon said that on Julie's page.
Yeah, we know that.
And I agree with that. And I will say, and that was my thing, because I had not heard of this. I'm a Gen Xer, we're on that cusp, right? So
Exennial.
Exennial. I had not heard of this, but I do currently work with a lot of younger women, Black women, and I'm like, what is this soft girl era shit? Like, what is this? And I think that we hear the term and we assume what we think it is. But so as I've do market research with the girls who actually say the term, right? Like, it's more about like, yeah, we just want a man to do X, this, that, and the third, and we just want to wake up and da 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 da. And I'm like, y'all young girls ain't never been through shit. Like, you just want a man to subsidize your whole life, but you ain't worked for nothing. Like, you see what I'm saying? So I feel like me in my mid 40s, the next year of it, closer to 50 than I was. But I'm saying I've worked a long time. So if I say I want to be in my soft girl era where I don't want to have to think, I don't want to have to make decisions about certain things, I feel like I've earned that. But someone just get into their career talking about, I don't want to work. Girl, you ain't been through shit. Like, you don't know nothing, very much nothing. So I think that as I have talked to these younger women about the soft girl era, I'm like, y'all ain't old enough to be tired about, and to say that you want to be in a soft girl era, because you haven't done anything. When I think of as I've learned the term, when I say I want to be if I were to ever say it, I don't think I would have ever used the term, but it to me equates to, I no longer want to thug it out. Right. I think that for a lot of us in our age range, we just had to go through it, get through it. My mom has always raised me, just keep getting up, going to work every day. It'll work itself out. You'll figure it out. Keep getting up, going to work every day. But I think like if I were to ever use a term and say soft girl era, it'd be like, I no longer want to thug it out. I don't want to thug it out. And I don't want to no more. Like, so I get that part, but I don't get younger women talking about soft girl era meaning like subsidy. That's what they're meaning, honestly. Soft girl era to them is subsidized by a man, and I ain't really with that. You ain't really did no work to live like that.
But some men like to be subsidized.
That's where
that attitude came from.
A friend of mine today said, she said, you could talk about this, but don't use my name. I said, okay, girl, I won't. So she said that there are certain women here in our community that go to two places that they know wealthy Black men are going to be, which is
I'm writing it down. Where they at?
Martha's Vineyard and Sarasota, Florida. And she said that's where they go to get the Black millionaires, the Black men millionaires. Okay. Shut up. So she said,
duly noted.
And so she said that they go to these two places. One's a summer, one's a winter. and they go there and they get their, they're millionaires and they live their quote unquote soft girl era lives because they date and marry these millionaires and they don't have to do nothing.
That's so crazy. You know where single men can go to?
Where?
The church.
I know he's going. Yep, church. That's right. Amen.
They are there. Boy.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with the young lady that was doing the commentary. I had a different perspective of soft girl era, and I thought it was just women who were wanting that interdependence that comes with being in a relationship instead of necessarily, what did you say, subsidizing income.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was leaning more towards her explanation that she just wanted someone to lighten. I just thought it meant someone to lighten the load that you have to carry as a single person. That's what I thought forever was.
I went ahead and Googled it after I talked to my friend today, and she told me that situation. I went ahead and Googled it because I had never heard of it. And so they break it down into different buckets. So a soft girl era is broken down into a lifestyle and a mindset, which is prioritizing peace or focusing on self-care, setting boundaries, and embracing vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Then it's also the next bucket is aesthetic and fashion, which is feminine style, girly makeup, and accessories. Okay. The next bucket is cultural context, a rejection of girl boss culture, and
I never bought into that.
And then a response to stereotypes for Black women.
Yeah, see, I never bought into girl boss. I hate when people call me boss lady. I hate it.
That. Yeah, mm-hmm.
I never liked it.
Well, I just think we're going to get ready to go to a different topic, but I do want to say that I just think anything that you are, I don't need nobody else to bring it on me. If I'm going to be delicate, dainty, take care of myself, self-care, look pretty, be kind, I don't need a man to bring me the soft girl era. I don't need to reinvent myself in the soft girl era because I'm already that. Men are looking for feminine women. To me, that's me. Mm-hmm. Feminine women who exude themselves and have feminine energy. And I think that we have to be very careful of, sometimes I think we've kind of gotten away with ourselves with how we want to come across. Like, I can do it all. Then we're like, well, we want to be delicate. We want to be. The truth is, whatever soft girl era, definitions 1, 2, 3, or 4, I don't think it takes a man or anybody else to put you in it. If you in self-care and you cool. And then I'm not trying to be funny, but these men, even though going to Sarasota, Florida, or Martha's Vineyard or anything, I'm laughing because men know all the basketball players. They all mess with the same women who all hang out in the same place, and they all have babies with the same men so that they can be taken care of. But I think majority of the women are out here just trying to figure out who fits for them. So let's go to.
I got a question.
There you go.
Because it's on your list. You know, we live in the same house. I know what's on your list. I want to make sure we get to this one. Gender roles, are they still important?
Yep.
Just talked about softer, and I just want to get into gender roles. I'm gonna start it off with what I think about gender roles. I think gender roles are important, but it's one-sided now, right? That gender roles for men are still there, making sure the lawn's there, trash taken out, handyman work around the house. It's all men's stuff. Mm-hmm. But women's part of the gender roles became joint responsibilities. Dishes, laundry, cleaning the house. That's no longer considered, hey, that's the woman's part of the gender role. That's now joint responsibility that everybody should be taking part of, right or wrong.
Well, I think that all changed when women went to work. I think that grandmama was home and her man was providing the check, and she could fold clothes and cook and make sweet potatoes
all day.
All day.
So when work world start to diversify, I think the gender roles started to take on.
Absolutely.
Right,
I think that because and the truth is we all working now. You know,
right, but to his point, but to his point, men have men roles, but then we're joint with y'all. So it's not.
But how often do you cut the grass? How often you cut the grass?
What is a woman's gender role then?
This is every day.
Well, tell me what a woman's
every day.
Right. Tell me what a woman's gender role is.
But even outside of that, look, if I need some help dropping this transmission, I ain't calling you.
And you're not going to
You
do it
shouldn't.
yourself because you're
Well,
not
you shouldn't.
mechanically
Well, you
inclined.
shouldn't. If you want to keep rolling, you shouldn't call me. Okay.
What is a woman's gender role? So y'all,
There
will
you
y'all
go.
tell me what a woman's gender role is?
There you go.
But
So typically, go ahead. It's the rearing of the house, really.
I
The
still
running of
think,
the house.
hold on, I still think women take the lead role in raising children. I do.
Yes,
I don't think
they
men are
do.
still laying out outfits every day for their kids. I don't
Nope.
think men are still doing hair. Not saying that none do, because this is not that extreme. But what we're saying is women are still combing hair, doing hair, still handling all the girl issues, the periods, the makeup, the hair, and women are still cooking. There may be homes where the men cook more than the women. But what I'm saying is women still cook, women still do laundry, women still do a lot of feminine
vacuum, dust.
Dust. I mean, I don't know too many men walking around with the Swiffer. I don't know.
Putting up Christmas decor.
Making
I got
the
a
house
list.
a home, making the house a home.
I clean walls and baseboards. I'm just saying, I clean walls and baseboards.
But if it was up to you men, it would just be a blank room. And I think that if you acknowledge what makes a house a home is what the women, the energy that they bring. Because y'all wouldn't have no pillows. Y'all wouldn't have
true. Why?
No. He said, hold on. His question was,
what are the gender roles?
No, the gender role expectation is to make a house a home. Grandma, big mama did it, and your mom, your kid's mama is still doing it.
The gender does
what
not.
roles do we still maintain? Those are it.
The gender does not bring the energy of that which makes a home.
So listen, my mama
said
something in the chat. She said gender roles must be discussed. Or if a woman works outside the home, those things change. So to her point, you could be with a man who prefers to cook. He might want to cook, and that would be cool. So I think it's just, Seth, you said this earlier about communication. Is really, I think when we talk about gender roles, like, are they still needed? Yes, but I think that we have to delve deeper into it and just about it's just relationship roles.
Yes, and playing your part.
Like,
period.
It's not necessarily gender anymore. I mean, I don't know nothing about cars, so like you was talking about a transmission, you don't want me under the hood,
right?
So I don't even know what a gas tank is.
Say what?
Hold on, Seth. I do want to know. You keep everybody needs to know their role and play their position. What is a woman's part these days? I would
not say that because that would be generalizing and it wouldn't be true. But what I would say is I need to be able to articulate what I'm great at and listen to what you're great at and see how we can coexist. Period. Point blank. It has nothing to do with the gender. In my opinion, that's the weapon of mass distraction.
So let me ask you this: when it came to the grass at your house,
you do this and no, look.
So when it came to cutting the grass at your house, y'all sat down and said, are you good at cutting or am I good at cutting? The truth of the matter is, cutting the grass is not nothing normally on the table of two genders to discuss. Now the inside the house, those tend to be discussed, but most men are not going to their woman and saying, with that grass, or is that more of your strong suit to call the people to cut it?
So again,
some women might want to do it.
So that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Right. So that's why I'm not going to get into the most who do this and the most don't do that. If we're communicating and we understand what each other really likes to do, that means, check this out. Let's say you did like to get outside and garden. That's your piece. But if I say, look, I'm the man, I need to cut the grass. Now I'm taking away from your piece. If I listen to you, that means, look, let me take a step back. It's okay. But you know what the issue is? Ego. That's the roles. So if the gender roles are diversified, it's because your ego is primary and not the main love of listening to that person. If you think I'm not going to do this because I'm a man or I'm a woman, I need to do this, that means it's your ego that need to be checked. That's the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you when you're right, because I love to cook, but if I'm with someone who likes to cook, because I've been like,
you love to cook?
I do love to cook, girl. I cook like 4 times a
week.
LOVE. But yes, but if I'm with someone who likes to cook, a man who likes to cook, I also have to recognize that
he's better at it.
No, he ain't gonna ever be better. But what I'm saying is, he might like to.
You hear that? You hear that, right?
He might like to. He might like to. So the conversation comes as, hey, babe, like, I know you want to cook every night, and I know you want to do this, but hey, I just want to cook for you once or twice a week. I have to be willing to say, okay.
There you go.
I don't think anybody's not willing, but I think if people are keeping it a buck, when they decided to marry someone of the opposite gender, when they decided to marry someone of the opposite gender, they had an expectation of what that looked like. Now, can you go and make modifications of what that looks like? Absolutely. But as a therapist of couples for many years, I don't care what anybody says. Now, maybe the world changed, this new generation getting married. Maybe they don't have that. But old people, men married women for a few things, and women married men for a few things. And they did fall into the original kind of gender role expectations. How they work out, yes, do what works for you. But most of the people didn't get married to a woman to discuss and vote on how he saw the grass.
About washing dishes.
Right.
I'm not gonna pick up a one.
But I'm telling you, things are different now. Now, I am a little old school, so that's why it's a little more difficult for me to be like, what you mean you want to cook? I'm a cook.
See? But right. So
however,
go ahead.
However, if someone is really that pressed about it, then I'm gonna go ahead and fall
now
back.
He pressed.
But I also am going to communicate and tell you what I'm also not going to do. You ain't ever going to catch me up under the hood.
See,
of a car. You're never. I can emphatically say you will never.
And
I
then,
can't even tell you where the button is.
Right. And then check this out. Let's say now we're in a situation where, hey, I don't like to get under the hood either. Let's put our finances together and get it done. But here's something.
I'm with it.
Right. But now keep this in mind. Let's think about when individuals conceptualize their expectations of marriage around the teenager age. So now let's say 15 years later, now you're an adult. Now you're seeing life different. You're not seeing this Disneyland shit. You're seeing a real person, a real person that you weren't really prepared for.
Exactly.
So now your expectations is boom out the window, because now you got somebody that's come from a different walk of life than you. So then therefore you need to humble yourself, just like this other person needs to humble themselves and say, hey, I want to love you first and then be right next. That's the deal.
And I agree that the next generation of young people who are raised by parents who do not have traditional old school gender roles will be very different than the generation of people who watch very much traditional roles in their, again, evolution. I don't have anything problem with evolution, but it is evolving. Our kids are going to look totally different in their marriage when they should. And that's honestly why the marriage rate is probably decreasing, because again, now that I don't need a man to leave my mama's house, and I don't need a man to take care of me, and I don't need these things to be successful. It is changing. Even that they even saying people not having enough babies anymore. I mean, all of these things are affected by the way roles have changed. And I love the evolution. I'm just saying that those of us born in the sevens and the eights and anything prior, it did start off with a gender role that you either saw or didn't see, and society helped make sure that they continue to push that in the conversation.
And then also, let's keep this in mind, and let's see if y'all agree with this or not. Do you agree that majority of the issues that we have as a people came from individuals that did not or were not able to do anything except for survive? So what I mean is, how can I teach my son how to be a father or to be a man, or how to treat a woman if he doesn't even see the way I'm treating a mother, right? Because I'm just focused on keeping these lights on. Same thing with a woman, right? Yeah. I'm just teaching my daughter how to cook, but I'm not teaching her how to treat her father. So if she don't know how to treat her father, how is she going to know how to treat a man? So yes,
1000%.
80s, to your point, right? To your point, being born from the 70s, 80s, 90s, yes, we do have to deconstruct the mess. So that's how we get the generational curses, because it's generational mindset that hasn't been broken, right? So this new we're living in this current generation right now, but we have to be able to say, hey, my mama didn't have it right. Or my daddy didn't give me what I need to deal with this woman. Now I need help.
Yep.
Men being able to ask for help and not feeling like they're weak because they're asking for that help. And the same thing for women. I guess like when we use that term softcore era, to be able to say, hey, I know I've had to do
have to be as strong
on my own, but I need help too. Right?
Even though it's 2025, let's breathe. Let's
Yeah.
breathe. Okay. Yes. Hey, let's breathe.
So
But now you're right. Go ahead.
So
All
check
right.
it. So we're gonna move on from that, but just so we clear, when it comes to being traditional, it only affects the men. Ladies, y'all are off the hook. And I just want to go. I just want to go to this comment right here. This is the same for my household as well.
Big Perm. You know what?
Same thing for our household. But hey, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving
For
on.
sure.
Right.
So,
Moving on.
and the truth is, everybody else has shame about it. I don't have no shame
I
about
don't
wanting my
either.
husband to be in
I
traditional roles.
said
And
what I
saw-
That
said.
part.
And
What I
so
want.
wait, hold on. Everybody can evolve. I'm very old school when it comes to certain things, and I'm okay with certain things. I don't have to placate to the new woman. I'm still the
That
old
part.
woman. I am still okay. I still love the fact that my dad took the trash out, and I like my husband to take
That part.
the trash out. And I still like the fact that my dad took care of everything outside of the house, and he still
That
did
part.
things inside the house. But I don't mind to say that I would like him, a male, to do that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay
Me
with.
too.
I'm okay with making sure things are cleaned up. I am okay with that. Do I want some support in other areas? For sure. Do I want to do it every day? Because I also work a full-time job and a part-time job and all those things. But the truth is, there's nothing. I think the world makes. This is just my 10 cents. I just like the world makes you want to be ashamed these days of okay with some of the tradition that our grandparents and our parents had. We don't have to all be everything. Everybody ain't got to be everything. I think it's okay in some ways. I do like tradition. I'm very traditional when it comes to my mentality of the way I see things. And I probably just spoiled. My dad's still gonna try to run and get the door. My dad is still gonna pick up the tab most of the time. My dad, I have never seen my mama touch a trash bag in her life. I'm not saying she wouldn't. I'm not saying she can't. I just never saw it.
And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line, right?
But that's also okay for me to be okay if I don't want to touch a trash bag either, though.
Right. So if it works for the household, I believe this tradition is built or broken in your own household. If you subscribe to someone else's tradition you're following, and then that means you're afraid of creating your own. And that's the truth. And I mean, that goes for anything from religion, for your family dynamics, all of that. If you subscribe, listen, if you look at your phone and you get more commentary and more ways to love your husband or to love your wife from a phone, then that means that's the problem, right? Because you're living through someone else's life instead of finding out what's in here and then communicating and listening to the person that's right in front of you, right? Right. Instead of them trying to fit into a mold that damn TikTok made.
Using an external source to create an internal scenario.
Worrying about the algorithm.
But we always talk about this, the inside job. So the final question of the night, this is the one that kind of got it kicked off, and a lot of the people in the comments logged on to see it. So I know we about to wrap up. Who is more sensitive, men or women? So comments, you let us know. Use y'all, but this is one of our final questions in our he said she said. Thank y'all for joining in. I see all the comments on the side. Did y'all enjoy it? Like if you love this, if you feel like the conversation has made you think, made you listen to something different, and made you think about different something different for your own home. So men or women, who is more sensitive?
Men.
Of course, men.
Men only if they value your opinion, though. If they don't value your opinion, they're not gonna be sensitive to it. It's gonna feel like a dime a dozen to them, but they are sensitive to their woman's opinion. Very much so.
I think men are more sensitive in general, period. And I think we can gauge that based on how we respond to them. Think about it. How often have you not said everything you wanted to say to your man, your brother, your father, your male cousin, your whatever, any man, your male boss, your male coworker, because you're like, ooh, I probably don't need to say that because he gone as opposed to your mama, your sister, your girl cousin, your girl coworker. You're gonna say whatever because you're like, she all right, she don't get it, and we're gonna be all right or we not. So that's what I'm saying. Men are far more sensitive. They react. You all, in my opinion, in my experience, react. And I know we generalizing a lot, but and I really hate that. I don't like that whole everything about everybody. But however, with that being stated, I feel like you all, because you are not able to or have not been conditioned to lead with emotion, like we talked about earlier, like you can't have it both ways, right? Since you lead with thought and not emotion, you are subconsciously acting out about times when you are emotional. And that comes out in anger. So if I tell you, you know what, Seth, I don't really like the way you cooked dinner for me tonight. That was fantastic. I liked it, but you ain't put enough salt in the broccoli for me. And then if you're not secure in who you are as a man, or you're insecure about certain things, then you gonna flip. As opposed to if you did that to me when I've cooked dinner for you 25 nights in a row, I would be like, oh, okay. Well, let me make sure next time.
You heard that right? 25 nights in a row.
I would put more salt in. I would put more salt in the broccoli, right? Yeah. So I think women's responses are we're just classically conditioned to just take things a little. We take it on the chin a little differently.
Seth, let's hear what y'all gotta say. So you don't think men are more sensitive than women, not emotional, or men?
Are you serious?
No, and yes, I'm very serious. For example, listen, watch this. If everybody put their hands out right here, and then someone put a lighter underneath it, okay, would you feel the heat? No, you will, but we all may respond differently to that level of sensitivity. You understand? So it's not a gender thing. It's about the emotional regulation of the person, how they respond. So a man doesn't have to cry to show that he's sensitive, nor does he have to have a level of microaggression or passive aggression. Women do the same thing, but how they spend the time in that feeling would determine their level of sensitivity. That's it, because the gender does not matter. Listen, it does not. Look, if my feelings is hurt, you would not know until I express it. Nobody will know how you feel until you express it. So
but don't you find that with sometimes you don't express it about that particular thing, it'll come out in another way. And then I'm like, damn, what's wrong with you? And you'll be like, well, 2 weeks ago you said that.
But look, women do the same thing. So it's all about your regulation. If you don't know how to communicate when you're upset, then of course you're going to wait until everything calmed down, right? But if you don't know how to have those conversations, it's going to come out any type of way, men or women, because not everybody know how to communicate. We just talk a lot. So if you don't know that you are hurt and know how to say it, and then that person have to be able to receive it without you sounding like a little girl.
About the lighter.
No,
right?
Okay, go ahead.
Because men have been classically conditioned to not show emotion or feeling.
Okay.
You gonna let that if you and Sharita standing there and the lighter is burning the hand, you looking at Sharita like she a woman and she gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. So you ain't gonna fold till she fold.
So that's what I will push back and say, that I would just say that that's your experience, and we're all speaking about experiences, right? And I personally don't think that that's even necessary. Look, if it's hot, it's hot. Do you feel it? So what you gonna do now?
Yeah, but there's this innate competition between men and women.
See, so what I'm picking up is pride and ego. Like women don't have, like women don't have pride and ego. The bottom line is this: if I am hurting, do I know how to say it? That's it. Without expressing it in a harmful manner. That is the level of sensitivity. If I'm hurt, or if Herm is hurt and he just spazzes out, it doesn't mean he's more sensitive or less sensitive. He just responded in a way that was detrimental to, if not himself.
Herm gonna burn his whole hand up. Okay.
Yeah. I know.
Big Herm gonna let his whole hand burn
up. I know. We talk about it, but that's my 2 cents, y'all. I don't think it's gender specific. I think.
All right, final answers for this, so we can get ready to kind of wrap everything up. What do you think, Big Herm?
So for me, right, I had to think about this. I think in relationship, men could be more sensitive. They're likely to be more sensitive when it comes to in a relationship. Overall, in the outside world, women are most definitely more sensitive, right? When it comes to work, their personal relationship with their friends and all that type stuff. I think the reason why men are more sensitive with their relationships, because that person that they're in a relationship with knows exactly how to hurt a man. You know what I mean? They know exactly what buttons to push. You know what I mean? All that stuff. The outside world don't know that. You know what I mean? They don't know what buttons to necessarily push with that particular man for them to react in a sensitive, I'm hurt manner. You know, so that's my thoughts on nose run allergies killing me down here.
And that actually kind of sounded very similar to what April said. There, in certain situations, you're more vulnerable. When you really care what someone thinks about something, you're more vulnerable. I just think as a woman, it's just a natural pivot every day of trying to switch up my emotion to make sure this is okay, to keep this person's ego intact. And I think men's pivot on their emotional responses, they tend to be a little bit more sensitive when brought to the table about, just like Chanel, salt is just her thing, but it's just like, I feel like we take a lot of hits a lot of times about what we do wrong, what's not good enough, what we take a lot hit. And I feel like men are a little bit different because it's not that often that other men correct men. It's not that often, it's only really a wife. But the truth of the matter is, I just feel like because we get corrected fairly often, I think we can pivot. And because men from little boys on are not as corrected as often to me as women, their sensitivity is a little bit more heightened. That's just the way I think. I just think what was brought to my brother as a boy child growing up, what was brought as concerns or just anything, what was brought to him, if it was just numbers, right? Concerns, there was probably 50 brought to me about a concern in something I did versus probably the 4 that was brought to my brother.
I will push back on that about men don't correct each other, because of a man don't have another man that's correcting him, that he doesn't have any friends.
No, a lot of men don't have friends, and a lot of women complain about their spouses not having any men.
But I don't think a lot of spouses know exactly what kind of conversations that a man is having with their friend. They might think they know, but they don't really know what conversations that
just like we don't know.
Yeah,
but you think that a lot of men are having really honest conversations with accountability? Hold on, in the masses, because again, when men tend to get together, just seems like to me, when you just are honest and take a step back, out of the 20 friends you got, out of the 20, you can probably pretty much guess how many of them you really know anything about what they're going through emotionally.
Yeah, but see, here's the difference.
And women do.
Here's the difference between men and women. Y'all get together, 15 of y'all, and start talking about all y'all emotions to each other. You know what I mean? With no disregard of who's sitting there. Men are not going to do that. We're not going to sit amongst 15 other men and start talking about our feelings. But if I pick up the phone and call Seth, you know what I'm saying? Now it's just a phone call with me and him. If I pick up the phone, call Rail, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when we're not going to sit there and powwow about our feelings.
And you know what, to her point, Sharita, I think the difference is, and this will me and her be talking about, women are more communal, right? So the most important part is the quality, not the quantity, right? So I know who I can talk to, and it is a mask, but it's not a kumbaya type of thing where it's like, it's not a men's empowerment type of deal. But I got a circle of my brothers and my lions, you know what I mean? And they know that they have the same within me. So I would say it's the quality, not the quantity, that matters.
Agree. I just hear a lot of women complain about that their husbands don't have friends, that they don't have that accountability partner, that they don't have that person. You guys are very lucky to have men that will hold you accountable, that you can be honest and open with. But as women, we talk about, man, I wish my man had some friends, just to go and vent and to have that opportunity to have that kind of powwow and that kind of that kind of connection to somebody outside of us. So maybe it's not true. I do think men are private. Nothing's wrong with that. I'm not expecting a man to act like a woman, but I do think
we don't want that, and we don't want that.
No, I don't. But I'm just saying I just think men tend to be a little bit more sensitive. I think sensitive, again, the reason everybody reacts the way that they do is because really it's again back to that word you try to say, it's a conditioned respond to the word sensitive. Because again, it's that same way. Sensitive. Not me.
Not me. Not me.
Not me. So
you
I
can
believe
say
too,
it's not or it is, but a lot of us are responding to the condition perceived of a definition.
And it could be, but again, even with that, it's I believe it's based off of your maturity level. Right, because even if you have a physical response based off of the word, that means that's truly letting a person know how you view a word and take it so personal that you can't even see it for what it truly is, just that which of a word. So and again, I don't know all men or all women, but the way that they operate in day to day will show me how sensitive they are.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, sounds like we've had a good show. Thank you for look like all the comments on the side.
Yes.
I hope y'all enjoyed it. Men of the Lions Den, thanks for having us. I know we're alive.
Yes.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We appreciate y'all.
And we will continue to be.
Yeah, I ain't realized how wrong Coco was gonna be this whole show, but that's all good.
Oh Lord, Big Perm. You know what, Big Perm? We'll talk offline about
I'm just
that.
messing with you. I'm just messing with you, sis.
I know. You know I love you. It's all love. It's all.
Hey,
And
so look,
clearly, April got disconnected.
And
So
she does. You know,
we'll see her later.
All right,
You know, she's Michelle Obama. She just shows up and leaves. You know, she's whenever she feels
so
like.
you got some parting shots, Coco. You want to tell the audience before we roll out?
I'm grateful and appreciative for the dialogue. I don't know that, as you stated at the top of the show, right, that you were educating us. I don't know that you did that. However, I am grateful for the different schools of thought. I think iron sharpens iron always, and so I do believe that happened tonight, and I'm grateful for y'all, and hopefully we can do it again.
Likewise. Go ahead, Sharita.
I appreciate the conversation, and I think we all should humble ourselves to evolution, but also keeping in mind that everybody's speed of evolution doesn't match yours. So sometimes when we get a little higher evolved, we look down at other people. But the truth of the matter is, we none of us is who we used to be. We're all evolving into something. So once you think you made it to the mountain, don't look down at the people who are still on the hills and their emotional intelligence and their emotional growth. We all are still talking to each other to try to work through the best version of ourselves. So thank you for that. I'm wearing my dolly hat for girl power, be cute.
And I got my pink leopard on.
So thank you for the elephant in the room people that are jumping on, and thank you for the Men of the Lions Den guests who are watching us for the first time. Certainly check us out on Sunday after their show at 7:30 here at the same place.
Go. What you think, Herm?
First and foremost, I want to thank y'all for wanting to do this with us. You know, it was a lot of fun, and I do believe that people got something out of it, whether it was information, just entertainment. When we speak on topics like this, it's tough because we're generalizing always. There's no real shots at anybody, you know what I mean? No real shot at a gender. I think that's the problem that we have now is feel like we always got to take shots at each other, you know what I mean? About what's better and what's worse, this, that, and the other. When we all should be trying to come together, you know what I mean, to make our communities better. I learned a lot. You know, I learned a lot from my wife. My wife is Shelby down there. That's part of the show. She's helped me grow as a man, and I appreciate that. You know, her friends. And when we talk about relationships and how men grow, I couldn't do that without my guy Seth and other friends that I have as well. Like my wife said, we're always continuing to evolve, and I embrace it every minute of it. Thank y'all, ladies, for coming on.
Right on. Well, listen, y'all. Everybody that was tuned in, make sure y'all get the times right. First of all, set your time to where it needs to be, right? So y'all catching the right stuff. But we'll be back next week at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And again, you can catch the elephant in the room at 7 p.m., right? Central Standard Time. 7:30. Hey, look, I'm already dozing off by that time. But look, we appreciate y'all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Right on. Later.
Right on.